Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Lloyd again. In our last segment, we looked at how a traditional colonoscopy is performed, where the doctor advances the scope with his right hand and does the up-down, left-right air-water suction biopsies with their non-dominant or left hand. Now I'm going to show you how in a tandem colonoscopy we have a technician to advance the scope, manipulate the scope to prevent the loops, and allows us to see much more of the surface. As you recall, when I did the test by myself, I was able to see 38% of the surface. The computer is able to actually accurately measure how much of the surface the colon I saw. Now we're going to see if we can beat that 38%. All right, Joseph, we're ready to go. Okay. And what happens now with the tandem colonoscopy, and we have multiple people helping, is we have the tech is advancing the scope, and that gives me the freedom with my knobs to have very precise tip deflection so that we don't hit the walls, and so that we can keep in the lumen so that there's no tension, and that's much safer. We've never, in 60,000 cases, we've never had a tech put such pressure on the walls that it causes that terrible complication called a perforation. We believe we've just about eliminated perforation complications in the normal case when the tech is able to advance the scope. And what Joseph is doing is rotating the scope left and right as he goes in, and that's making the scope. We've been through the sigmoid, now in the descending colon. In a minute we'll be up to the area called the splenic flexure, which separates the descending colon from the transverse colon. And that's where now you're going to see the green line take a sharp turn. And the key is that Joseph is rotating the scope, keeping it from forming loops, which cause pain and impede your forward progress. We're now minute 17 into the test, and we're already in the transverse colon. And I have both my hands available for controlling the tip deflection. We just finished the transverse, now we're going through the liver area, and we're going into the ascending colon. And you're seeing how easily the scope advances when you have a tech able to advance the scope and keep rotating it, preventing the loops. There's a teeny little loop in the sigmoid, but that's not enough to cause significant problems. We're almost at the end. And here we go. There's the end of the colon. This is the appendix. It took us exactly 2 minutes to get to the end. And in a traditional colonoscopy, it usually takes an average of about 5 or 6 minutes to get this far. So when you have the technician helping you in a nice, good prep like this, you can get to the end in 2 minutes. Now, we change philosophies as we withdraw the scope. What our goal now is to find every little polyp. So we're going to look very carefully. I'm going to make circular turns. I'm going up, right, down, and left, as Joe does the same thing. He's rotating the scope to help keep it easy for me to do that. Keep coming out. Good. Let me clean my legs. Good. That was the ileocecal valve. That's the end of the colon right there. And now what my job is to look right, left, up, down, and be sure I see all the surface areas. And Joseph is helping me by rotating. Back in just a little bit. Good. All right. Good. Keep coming out. And this green line shows you where we are in the colon. And I can also show you on this map that we're about 2/3 of the way still in the colon. We were way down here. We've already come out this part. And this is sort of a shortcut way of seeing that simultaneously see what we're seeing inside the colon and where we are in the patient's anatomy. And again, I'm still making my clockwise circles. I'm going down, or left, up, right. Down, left, up, and Joseph is making 90-degree turns that helps keep the colon very, very straight so that we don't fall out any of these sharp turns. The tortuosity is what makes it hard to see. We're taking our time very slowly to look at every nook and cranny and trying to see the surface area completely. We don't want to miss even a 2-millimeter polyp, because in 8 or 10 years, a 2-millimeter polyp can turn into cancer. So our goal is to see all the surface through a combination of the tech being able to rotate. See how straight that colon is? It's perfectly straight. And that's because of Joe being able to keep things perfectly straight. Joseph's able to prevent the colon from achieving its natural state, which is lots of little bends. He's eliminated all the bends through torque and spin. And it's my job to be sure we see all the walls by making those circles. And he knows I'm going to be making those circles, so he helps me by the rotation helps us see the walls. And actually, I find that doing the tandem colonoscopy technique does not take any longer to perform a similar conscientious exam. I think in the amount of time, my average time doing a colonoscopy is about 24 minutes. But I think that we see so much more colon and we take out so many more polyps that can't be done any quicker. And let's see how the whole test took us a little bit over 5 minutes. And we'll see what kind of score we got. We saw 68% of the surface instead of 38. 68% surface instead of 38. Pretty big difference. That's the advantage of having a tech, a GI tech, in the tandem colonoscopy model. Again, I'm Stephen Lloyd, and thank you for watching.